Today I have got my thoughts on Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf from 1988, and I recently just watched this again. I actually rewatched it about 2 weeks ago for my marathon thing for the 50th anniversary of Scooby-Doo, and I really like this movie. Both of the movies from 1988, which I just covered, Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, recently, are really great. I'll take them over Monster of Mexico for sure, which I also recently covered. And I just think the Reluctant Werewolf does a really good job with connecting Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, and if you guys want to know how those two are connected, check out my thoughts on the Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School. But I think the whole racing thing is done a lot better in this game compared to Scooby-Doo and WWE Curse of the Speed Demon from 2016, which came out 18 years after Reluctant Werewolf. Not 18, 28. 28 years later. And it's just, I can't believe it that a movie from 1988 on the same thing as something they did in 2016 is done better with the older version. But that's what you get with this movie. And the whole thing with Warner Brothers trying to basically redo everything Hanna-Barbera did, because they've tried to recycle Reluctant Werewolf, which we possibly could be getting a sequel to. I don't know how accurate this is. It just popped up as a little thing in Scooby-Doo Return to Zombie Island. But I thought I'd just mention that. But for Reluctant Werewolf, I just really think this is a great movie. And the voices are wonderful. My favorite from the movie is probably the one that did the Vampira. I thought that her voice actress was really, really good. It brought a lot of life to this otherwise somewhat boring movie that kind of just drug on, even though the race. The first of two races for the movie took about the span of about 20 minutes to do the whole thing, where the second race took about an hour and 15 minutes maybe. So, yeah. But that's just the time they had for that movie, because it was, I think the whole runtime for the full movie is an hour and a half, which makes it one of the longest Scooby-Doo movies out there. I think Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School comes in at an hour and 25, maybe? I'll have to look on the back of the case, but I think those two are two of the longest running ones for movies, which isn't really a bad thing, but it does somewhat hurt it a little bit with the long runtime, where they need to do a bunch of fill-in stuff just to get the time to be the amount they want it, which is fine with some parts, but as an overall, the runtime for both these movies is way too long. That's one of my big problems with a lot of these older Hanna-Barbera movies, especially these two, is that they're way too long for keeping people interested. If you're a diehard Scooby-Doo fan, I can see that you'd want to sit through both of these movies multiple times a month. Me, I'm not one for sitting through extremely long runtimes for a movie. 80 minutes is pretty much my max for sitting through any movie. And so, that's just for me. But if you guys are able to sit through an hour and a half long to 2 hour long movie, even if it's not in theaters, I applaud you for that, because I could never make it through that. But For Reluctant Werewolf, I just think it's a wonderful movie, and one I would highly recommend even for an older movie, even though the older movies aren't the best. Honestly, they're still much better than a good chunk of the newer movies that Warner Brothers has produced over the past couple of years. But if you guys enjoy that movie and have seen it, feel free to tell me your thoughts on my thoughts on this movie in the comments section below, and just like and subscribe for more, because I will do more in the future.